What's up, guys? Welcome to the City Skyline game. This is for beginners, and we are here to share with you how you could start building your small town, small village, become one of the wealthiest cities you can ever have. And this video is going to show to the beginners how you can manage your resources at the initial stage. When you start building, or when you start building, you have very limited resources, or we have very limited capital, and therefore you need to manage that little capital and make your town, village much better, giving them everything that they need. So at the end of this video, you should be able to understand how to make that happen. All right, so to get into it, we've already selected our site, but there are different resources that you have to consider when selecting your site. And there are a couple of them. There are different versions of this game, and it's up to you. Wherever you get to download this game or purchase this game, you have to know that there are different versions, and this is my version. So we have the all oil farmland first, and then we choose the land based on what is suitable for us. So let's get into it and then enjoy this game. Okay, so we have our piece of land left. There are lots of things that as a beginner you need to understand. Okay, and you must make sure that you stay disciplined, and that is one thing I learned about playing Cities Skyline game. That piece of land given to you must be used fully. So we increase our time to run. We speed up the time, and then we start to build a city. First, you need to make sure that you are getting your roads, because the road will link people to come to that small village. Let's call it a village. A very small village. Could be Africa, Europe, Asia, North America, South America. Think about any place at all. Right. So let me reposition my screen recording, and then we get into this video. So we have all the little features that you can imagine. This game runs both day and night. The town or village gets into night, and this is where we show you your balance. And 70,000 Ghana cedis, you have no people, no population at all, and you have no expense or income coming. So at this point, it's stagnant, it's stuck. So we are about to build our small village, but we must be very disciplined and then spend within our means. And this is something that most beginners lack because they don't know how to go about it. Right. So as the feature there, formerly known as Twitter, we call it X. But in this game, it's a different name altogether, and it's quite interesting. That's where your citizens speak to you, sometimes on their demand and how they vent. It's very interesting. If you are new to this game, trust me, it's going to change your perception about building a town, building a village, even building a country. And we can bring this to reality. Of course, it will not be the same as just running a country, but it gives you a fair idea on what you need to do. So we have a small piece of land, water or river running on that piece of land, which is part of the portion. We need to tap into that to build our sewage treatment and then water pump stations as well. So we have our road, which is more like a single lane road, and this is because the features are limited. As you keep growing, you get more features, and I think it's a good thing they did it this way so that you are limited on what resources or what infrastructure you can build. And we'll start with our roads, and then we make sure that we bring people in. So I like to build my roads this way, and there are a lot of reasons as to why. Is to make good use of the land very well and make sure that there is that integration and specialization. A specialization comes later after you've built the country or town into much better place where you specialize your industry. But spatial planning is key, and you don't want to run your roads or construct your roads haphazardly. It has to be more suitable, so that later if you want to make any quick adjustment, you can do that. So we build roads, which indicates that we have some piece of land to do construction. And I always like to do double lane roads connecting from the major road to the city, because in the future, if you use a single lane road on that part, you would have huge traffic coming in. If you want to do a lot of different reconstruction or do reconstruction, you get to see that people are moving out of that spot. So we add our residential path. The green spot is residential, the blue is commercial, and the orange is industrial area. So we're building our water pump. We have the water pump station and also the sewage disposal pipelines. So once we've created residential zones, we need to give them the basic needs, which includes water. They already have roads, so we give them the water and also electricity. And there is some people may start building the water and everything first. But the reason why I like to do this, because it's when people start coming in, they start paying taxes to you. Okay. So within that short time, you're able to generate or you're able to cut down some costs. That income you get is able to deal with some of your expenses. So you just have to be quick about building all these things. The faster you build, the better it becomes, so that people don't leave your small town or your small village. So we'll continue to build, and then we see how our small city grows. So there are three things that as a beginner I would share with you. And the first thing I would say is checking your expenditure or your expenses against your income. And then the second thing has to do with management of resources. Of course, money is part, but that looks at or management of your infrastructures. And the third thing has to look at the overall demand. Demand and supply. A bit of economics here. So when you look at your income and expenses, whatever that you are building, whatever infrastructure you are putting, there's an upkeep for that. So you need to make sure that whatever that you spend, your revenue or your taxes should be able to cover for that. If not, you run into debt. You have to go to the IMF for loans. You have to get to the World Bank for loans, and you don't want to do that. That way, you cripple the growth of your country. You're unable to expand yourself easily. So you always need to regularly check your taxes, and then your expenses is very important. And as part of my plan, I like to separate residential, commercial, and that of industrial. There's a basic reason to that, which is very very important, and I'm sure once we move into other episodes of this game, we will be able to get a much better understanding. Yes, and then the second reason why as a beginner you should always pay key attention is your management of infrastructures, and that includes water, sewage, electricity, everything. The country or the village is growing, the town is growing. I'm just seeing myself managing the country, so I keep saying country. So the village or the small town is growing, and you don't want to give them what they do not need, or you don't want to give them enough. So, for example, the turbines that we are building, we need to measure the megawatts we are constructing to make sure that we are not giving them, let's say, 50 megawatts when indeed they need just 10, because that way you spend more for the upkeep and then you need to maintain it. So great, we made it to a worthy village, and our small town is growing, which is very interesting for us. And I like to make sure I do futuristic road construction, because I feel like I can easily expand, and that's because of how the country is growing. So I'm checking my population, their happiness, the people coming in, and that should tell you how the small village is growing. And in few months, you get to see that the whole place has expanded. Now, the third thing has to do with how you think about all these demands. And it's because as citizens, we always want better, we always want more. And then you see people making requests. You see people tweeting, they Xing requests here and there, blah blah blah. We need this, we need that, we need it. So you, as the director, the manager, you need to look at all these little resources and then make sure that you don't give them everything, because once you start spending more, you need to borrow to um, you know maintain them. So you manage that with that little taxes that you are earning and all that. So, for example, you don't build roads that you are not going to use. You look at the demand that is coming for residential, commercial, industry, industrial zones, and then you build that for that. So that's our garbage that we build, because we've seen that there's demand for garbage, and it's very important that we build as soon as possible, because people will start screaming and wailing about no garbage in the city. Then they start leaving, you start losing income. So that's our garbage over there. We see our garbage trucks, and I like to manage my upkeep because it's a small village. Would you need 10 garbage trucks to run this whole place up? No. So you reduce that, but when you go to your expenses or your income, and then you make sure that all these things that you are spending on are reduced to make sure that they fit in your income, and also the consumption level and infrastructure management helps your small village. So you can see the different tracks there. So I've reduced my upkeep to make sure that the garbage site is run perfectly fine to suit the needs of the citizens. It's a very interesting game. If you are new to it, you may find it a bit annoying because you don't even know how to start. But in my other episodes, I'll take you through one of the big cities I built within 2 months, and the income we made, how industrial the city has become, and the kind of things that the city is enjoying. And I'm sure getting to that level is what you want to get to, and this is why this channel is going to take you through all the city skyline tips and tricks that you need to know as a beginner. And of course, we are not pros, but we want to enjoy this game, share with you some ideas. So we want to also see yours. So you can comment down below your questions, whatever that it may be, and then we'll be very happy to help you out in our next episode. All right, so we're building more residential places, and this is where we want to make sure that we manage all these little resources. You can see our expenses, our income, which is fine. It's good. It's great. The country is running smoothly. We don't want to go to the IMF. We don't want to go to the World Bank. We are checking our water levels, our electricity consumption, and everything. Building futuristic roads to make sure that we can later expand easily without have to break down homes. They are amazing features, and once you keep going, you keep moving. Now we have to give them a medical health, because they are demanding for it. You don't want your citizens to fall sick. You see citizens sick. For now, sometimes you wait, sometimes you go ahead and do it. But we see our income over there, and it means we can still afford. But do you think the demand is really high for all those things? We have a problem there. So that is one thing about this game. Always check your infrastructures. Always look at your income, your expenses, and make sure that you are spending within. Your citizen will demand everything, but it's up to you to make that conscious effort to be very disciplined and all that. So we regulate bits of our electricity production to suit the consumption, and that is where we find ourselves as a small village. So very soon, our population will hit and go beyond that of the wealthy village, and I'm sure more features will be added to it. So enjoy the rest of the video, and we'll upload the next episode very soon. And in that episode, I'm going to show you 2 things that can help you increase your income. So enjoy the rest of the video.